So this is the credit rolls project file breakdown, the long-awaited one. To those who don't know, my name's Hoovy. I make music using a video editor, Sony Vegas. It's kind of my shtick. Actually, Sony Vegas is a bit of the dead name. It's Vegas Pro 15 or Vegas Pro now. It's owned by Magix. Sony doesn't own it, but more people know it as Sony Vegas. So that's what I'm doing. The reason the reason I make music in Sony Vegas is because I started out making videos in Sony Vegas way back when. I was like a YouTuber before I did music, and I still identify as a YouTuber. I'm still working on stuff, but like, you know, music is kind of the main thing that I'm doing right now. And every time I tried to like get into producing music, I tried like FL Studio and Ableton. I just found that like I couldn't do it. I would try to do things in FL Studio or Ableton and be like, you know, how do I do this thing? And I had so much experience doing sound design in Sony Vegas to where I was like, wait, I could just do that I could just do this in Vegas instead. And I kept doing that where I would like just do things in Vegas and like be like, okay, I know how to do this in Vegas. It's just faster for me. Eventually to the point where I just stopped using DAWs altogether and now I just use Vegas. So that's basically it. That's what I do. Today we're breaking down credit rolls, which is probably my most ambitious song in terms of like sound and just everything going on with it. And here's a little bit of what it sounds like. You know, there's a lot going on in it. It's a pretty crazy one. And actually, just give me a sec. I should have just alt-tabbed before. I don't know why I didn't do it then. I'm realizing all the Vegas files I have right now are like super quiet. So, let me try this again. Is that too loud? It looks like it's going in the red. Also, it's 3 in the morning in my country. Real shit. I just want to make sure it's not peaking. Because I don't want to be going in the red too much. I think it's a little too loud. Right there should be good. I think this should be fine. Does that sound good? There. I think this is fine. This is fine. Okay. Here's a little bit of what the song sounds like. So it's like a full-blown electronic, sample-heavy kind of thing made in a video editor, which is why I think it's so ambitious, and it's why I want to talk about it. So that's what we're doing today. To start, we can look a little bit at just the beginning of the song, some of the layers. So this is just a guitar layer. And this is like an edited guitar layer a little bit. Sometimes what I do when I'm working in Vegas is I record stuff on the track like this. So this is what the original guitar sounds like. It's just kind of me playing, and then some additional layers here. But sometimes when it's just playing like this, like you can get some like clicking on the timeline randomly and it doesn't sound all that nice. So I bounce it out of the software, and then it makes it just like a cleaner sound, basically. And I think I have some effects on it too. Oh, I guess not on this one, but on the other guitar layer, I imagine I've added some chorus. Yeah, a little bit of chorus, reverb, some vibrato. If you add vibrato just a little bit and then you increase like the modulation frequency, it kind of recreates like this sound that you hear a lot in like tape distortion, where you're getting like frequent vibrato sounds. And it can sound pretty interesting. It's very subtle here, so you don't really notice it, but yeah, it can sound pretty cool. And then in the background, I just have some camcorder sounds. I believe they're like reversed, but it just adds like a texture in the background, along with a little bit of I sampled this like phone call that me and my sister had like a while ago for a school project. I actually sampled it quite a bit. I also sampled it on Mother, Mother Nature, another one of my songs. And it felt fitting here, so I just reused it. Obviously, we have the Sony Vegas Music production tag.
Sony Vegas Music.
And that's the original pitch of it before I pitched it down.
Music.
So you're getting that sound. And then there's like a really iconic sound layer here, which is a lot of people's like favorite part of the song. It kind of sounds like an Animal Crossing character. What this is it's a heartbeat, like a flatline sound that I just repitched. And then I add some like stutters here and there. This little slide sound, I'm just using a vibrato. And yeah, the original name for this song was actually Flatline because I started out this project making, what the fuck? Sorry, you got smited. Belui in chat. Okay. Damn, how do I unban you? I'll try to do that now. What's up, Patch? Or like untime out you. Wait, did it time you out as well, Belly, or are you still able to type? I need to figure out a way to like prevent Nightbot from being a dick because it's kind of annoying. Sorry, hold on. Dang, nah? Okay, hold on. Actually, maybe it's a good idea for me to do that now before we get too deep into stream. Chat moderation. Okay, we should be good. Sorry about that. But I saw your message. Yeah. We got... It's a flatline sound. And you actually hear it come up a little bit later in the song, and it becomes like its own little motif. The song was originally called Flatline. And then we get into the lyrics. So this vocal layer comes up. I guess I have it doubled here, which Hey, to be honest, I don't know why I did that. I actually don't think this does anything. Maybe I have like different effects on different sides or something. Okay, yeah, I actually have no idea why it's doubled. Maybe it was just to add some balance when I was. Well, either way, I did that, I guess. And then I double the vocals here. And I've got a bit of chorus on these vocal layers. And like I do for all my vocals, like my leads, I just increase the high end EQ. It just helps them become a little bit more clear. And then these are bounced from Audacity. These are the same vocal take here, but there's a little bit of radio EQ added to them. And it just adds this like texture onto the vocals where it sounds like a radio. It's a default EQ setting in Audacity. So I just literally bounced the vocals from this project file, and then I threw them in Audacity, added the radio EQ, and then threw it back in. And then added some other effects, like a bit of distortion to saturate it, bit of reverb, add a bit of character to it, bit more high end on the EQ, because when you do radio EQ, it usually cuts off the higher frequencies, so I just do that to make it a little bit more audible. But this is a sound that I use a lot in my different music that I made within Vegas, like this kind of like vocal setting. I just really like how the radio EQ from Audacity sounds. So. And then we got some shit going on. So I've bounced the guitar from earlier. Actually, I can't remember. Okay, I actually don't use this layer. I lied. That's just the same layer. It's a really nice chord progression. And then there's like some flatline sounds going on up here. Where are they? Where did they go? They're somewhere. Here we go. These are the flatline sounds I was talking about. That's just the heart monitor sound played at like different lengths. And it just adds like a little bit of destabilization and then some glitch sounds. And this is the same sound but just slowed down a lot. So it sounds a little bit more distorted, which just adds to the lo-fi aesthetic of this track. Which the vocals and the guitar, like they kind of already put you there, you know? Like it's pretty low fidelity. And then this little sequence I really like. It's just really pretty. So here I'm doing quite a bit. I gotta remember everything. Yeah, so I add here some like the reason it sounds so like all-encompassing here is that there's a bit of I'm pretty sure this is the like me just plugging in my guitar and like for some different like guitar settings on my electric, it like so it's just plugged straight in my interface, but it like comes with this hiss. And then I just upped the gain on that hiss and then I think pitched it down. Yeah, and I guess there's some reverb on it. And then a bit of vibrato as well. So it like fluctuates a little bit. And then I shift like which part of the recording it is in each ear. So this is the left ear and right ear, just doubled, and then it just adds like this cool texture in the background that makes it feel a little more scary. We've got the bass. This is just like a Digicore 808, I think, that I pitch shift. And then here's some more background noise. This is camcorder footage, which usually, and I believe I'm just filming in nature, and it just adds like a really interesting texture. And then there's still some of that background ambiance that like adds the scariness. And there's more of these call samples going on as well. With some different like pitch shifting on it. And then there's the lead here. With like a little bit of harmony. And then here it's like a little bit of two different pitches, like a little bit of like a chromatic Jaws thing going on. And I'm just like stuttering them a lot to create like the glitchy sounds, basically. And there's another sound effect that I use quite a bit in my music here. Obviously the glitch effects go again, but I'm looking for something else. Where is it? It's right there. This thing. That's like a camcorder click. It's a little motif that I've used like quite a bit in like a lot of my music, but especially my more recent stuff. It just it's literally just like this glitchy sound that comes from like it's like a weird audio artifact that comes out of old mini DV camcorders. And I've been sampling a lot of camcorder sounds throughout my recent music, so that's like a pretty iconic sample. And I think I sample like 2 different takes of it. Or no, these are just double. So this is in the left ear, this is in the right ear. Then we get to the second verse. Actually, I think there's some interesting guitar layers that I forgot of. Just a little bit more texture to the guitar and like pitches. And there might be a new guitar loop added too. Or I think it comes in a bit later. But okay, second verse. Okay, there's a lot going on, obviously. There's a lot going on. So, this part's pretty straightforward, it's just another vocal take. I cut out the ambiance a little bit at the start to just let it ease in. little bit of glitching going on. Just using the same layers from before. What's this? I guess this is an added guitar layer to just like make it sound a bit more full. Let's see what it sounds like all together. Yeah, because it's got like a bit of reverb, and they're playing on each ear. Oh yeah, it's got the vibrato in like a lower. So the vibrato on this guitar layer goes up, whereas this one goes down. So it's like slightly detuned on this one. And you hear it a little bit here where it like throws it off a little bit, and there's yeah, it just kind of destabilizes things a little bit more. You can barely hear it, but I remember liking how that sounded. And then there's a little guitar layer here again from before. And then we get into the big scary. That's just the beginning of a Desert Eagle shot. And then it gets a little scary. What do we got going on here? I'm just gonna add layers one by one and just see what they sound like. So this is a synth sound that's like not really a synth. I recorded this. I forget what are they called? It's not like an EMF. No, that's from like that's some phasmophobia shit. It's like it's used to detect like the magnetic like force in something, but you like apply it to a positive and a negative. We just had these in one of our like classes basically that I was in for school, and we were using them. I think you'd use them for any like circuitry, like circuit board class, but we were doing it to like test the magnetic like charges on like certain objects, and it made like this really loud pitch sound that you hear here. And the reason it sounds like screaming is because like at different points, like the magnetic force would be like less powerful. And so when it's really clear that there's a magnetic force, like you hear it very strong, whereas like when there's not a lot of magnetic polarity, it's like less it's picking up less of a signal, and so it like cuts out a little bit more. But layered together and changing the pitch of it and just speeding it up, slowing it down, doing all these things, adding vibrato to it at like a really fast rate, like you see here, like really fast. It just adds like you can change the pitch of it and the feel of it, and it just sounds really fucked up and scary. So that's that's a few of the layers. The vocal layers here. So I use these backup vocals as like an additional layer in the same pitch. And then I have some guitar used as bass. This is just the electric guitar pitched down by 12 cents or 12 semitones. God damn, that was crazy. Pitched down by an octave. More of the talking. I think that's more of the pitch down guitar layer. Destabilize things a little bit. That's something. Let's hear it in like a different context. Ah, right, yeah. That's actually so cool. I forgot about that one. These are either guitar harmonics or just like me playing higher notes on the guitar that I use to like add a bit of power. What is that? Oh, I think that's the beginning of me playing a note on the guitar, and it just sounds like a little click. So I'm gonna unloop it. I think this is a sub clip actually. Yeah, so I can't hear it, but yeah, this is the same guitar take, so yeah. It just adds like a little bit of a glitchy texture. This is another guitar harmonic, and then I'm just changing the vibrato on it at like different points. So it sounds all wavy. And then that is a layer just to like, so you hear a bit of the pitch going on. There's the clicking. And in the background you can hear like a lot of deagle shots going off. These are just like repitched. I thought it was a cicada noise. Yeah, that high pitch thing, it does sound like a cicada. A little bit. Oh, and then I'm producing like a really weird glitch sound using the Desert Eagle. So this is just like pitch shifting and then reversing it, changing the speed. I forget how I'm getting it to like sound exactly the way it does. I think it's because it's either like really slowed down or it's like really sped up. Oh, I guess there's no pitch shift on it. But because it's pitched down, it just sounds crazy. Okay, yeah, this is just spam firing the Desert Eagle. Gotcha. But yeah, it just adds to like the existing glitch sounds in it. It sounds kind of crazy. These glitch sounds are here. And then changing the pitch so that it's like pitched up, it like speeds it up a lot more. We've still got the flatline sounds going. Still got this going on. And then the song begins to open up. These are just chorused vocal layers. Ooh, we might get a Vegas crash. It might be dead. This is the second time this has happened on stream. And I'm surprised it hasn't happened more, honestly. Goodbye, Vegas. Okay. I'll reboot the file. Just give me a sec. But you gotta trust me, like, when I work on these songs, this happens so much. This happens way more. Okay. Let's hope I don't accidentally do that again. I guess to talk a little bit about this guitar layering, or like how to get it to sound nice, and this is just generally true for like Midwest emo kind of vibes. So this main guitar part, I'm talking about this one. This is played in like 6/4. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So already like or I guess 3, 4 is like a better way to think about it. So like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, what, etc., etc. It's all like 3, 4 is still typical, but it's less common than 4, 4 timing, which is like a count of 4. But you can do really weird things when you like layer on like guitar parts that sort of act out of line with that, either that time signature or the timing of the original chords. So like the timing of this is kind of on the offbeat. It's like 1, 2, 3, like it's happening. Yeah. So like 6, 8. So it's like here we're going like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like I'm working on the, if we're in 6, 8, then I'm doing it on like the 16th notes. So it's like, if I'm doing the counting, it would be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and etc. I said 6, 4 just because like these notes sound closer to like that count sounds closer to like a quarter note. But anyway, when you start layering guitar on like the offbeats, or you're doing them in like weird phrasing counts. So these phrases are going closer to like 12, 8, you know, instead of 6, 8. Like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like even these are like kind of like this is offbeat even completely. But layered together, when everything is in a different, you know, playing a different register and like melody, it just sounds really nice, and it's very Midwest emo. So I've got a lot of the talking layer going on. There's some more repitching of the heart monitor sound that becomes like very pervasive later on. Bit of the camcorder clicks. Bit of bass. We have these reversed harmonics coming in that sound like this. The glitch sounds are coming back. And then there's this second bass layer that I add that starts to get scary. And this is another Digicore 808. And it's just it just feels like it's burning, you know? before I get to that sample, because that's its own can of worms. Oh, wrong part. Where are we? I want to look for all the vocal harmonies. Oh, this is important. I'm taking like the hissing from earlier, and then I'm just changing, adding like these cuts into it to like make it more, like jaded or like jagged. Jagged is more accurate. Where the fuck are the vocals, dog? My projects are really disorganized. You can't tell. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, just some more of the vocals. You can see I gave up on the name of the vocals past a point.
Goes around, comes around, goes around, and then goes around, ring around, bring me down.
And then right here, I'm not even using radio EQ anymore. These are just the original takes. And on their own, these recordings sound kind of crap. But like when they're all layered together over melodies and like other sounds, like they sound really good. And I think that's like a habit that a lot of producers get into, where they try to make an individual sound good, and it never sounds the same in context. You have to be mixing with the context in mind. And so whenever I'm like adding or like recording anything, I'm almost never soloing anything. Like I'm just kind of throwing shit in and then hoping it sounds good, you know? And then we get this really weird sample.
I'm here to kill. I'm here to kill.
So these are sounds from a game called Killer 7. I used a lot of these sound effects in my song Puppet. It's a really good game. I highly recommend it. But here I'm kind of using them as like an added pitch down layer that just, it's like, oh fuck, This is very senses designated coded, if you've heard that Jane Remover album. That's like a sound effect. There's like some pitch down vocals that they use a lot in Census Designated that I was like, I figured it suits this track very well. This song is very Census Designated in a lot of like the way the glitchy sounds come in and everything. Even if the main riff is like a little bit different in terms of style. It's like a more lo-fi Census Designated kind of thing. And then I basically take this sample and I turn it into a note. Into like a little synth. And the way I do that, it's just like a little vocal chop, I'm pretty sure. So I'll see if I can like recreate what I'm doing here. I'll look at what effects I have on it first, because that's probably relevant. Yeah, pitched up a fuck ton. So I'm just gonna add like pitch correction to this. So it's very fast, and then properties, remove loop, creates, no, we want loop, so we'll keep the loop on. but through that you can get like different kind of like synth sounds. But here I got lucky and I just happened to pick a spot of the vocal where it sounds more melodic. So I just get all these layers going. And then we get the great build, or the moment of the song, where it sort of builds, or it drops out for a moment, and then just starts going in. And here I'm just sampling, like, for some of this it's just me saying shit.
Now I remember trying to figure out words to say. All comes back.
And I think the original take of this is just me. Hang on. There's this really annoying bug that's like near my keyboard. Shit. Okay. Dude, I was so close. Oh, I think I got it. No, I didn't. Okay, it's going away. Sorry, that fly just like completely distracted me. Let's see. Because there's some other effects too that I can't hear in here. Oh, right. I think what I do whenever I do these vocal chops, I always just say some bullshit.
It all comes back to now, and I'm gonna keep talking like this and trying to figure out words to say.
Like, it's just, like I'm just
all comes back to now.
Saying some bullshit, but I knew that I wanted to be like all comes back to now because it would just feel very powerful in the moment. And then I'm basically just using, like building up the glitchy sounds to like build into the, this moment before it like fully breaks. Here I start adding like a lot more of the heart monitor sounds. And they're all sort of like chromatic, but also like making little harmonies of like things, but they're also kind of like arpeggiating. It just goes a little crazy. And there's also some more sounds from like a camcorder. Yeah, right there. And these were taken from like when I was a lot younger by my dad. So these are like old camcorder recordings that just like, it's sort of a motif that makes it like I don't like a lot of my current stuff is sort of harkening back to like childhood and everything. Patch asks, how did you cut it so randomly? Do you just do it by feel? Exactly. That's literally just it. I cut it at like different points, and then like when it sounds right or it's doing something for me, I'm like, okay, we can leave it there. A lot of maximalist music, I think, is just about adding layers until you get where you want to be. Like that's basically it. It's a combination of adding a fuck ton, and then when it sounds bad, remove some shit, add more, go down, go big, accordion, that's usually how it goes. So that's basically it. And then these sounds are also some sounds from when I was younger. This is my old like COD gamer tag. I was in a clan called Sapphire. And these are like, this is an old reaction video from when I was like early into making YouTube videos. And like this current project and like this song especially, I feel like is harkening a lot on themes of like childhood, you know, um, kind of like coming of age in some ways. Um, and that's kind of the moment I'm trying to create with this, where it sort of like breaks time in a way. The visuals sort of do that too, you know. A lot of the visuals for this song, for the visualizer, are it was actually based on like a short film I made for school. Um, so I'm reusing a lot of assets from that, but it was sort of just a mixed media like project where it was you know, um, merging together feelings of like, the past and the future, um, and the present, which is why I'm saying like it all comes back to now, and how like at every point, at the time that project was sort of based around this idea that like at every point that like you say like, oh, I want to do this thing, it's like you are becoming um like at every point you want to become something, like it's usually something that you want to be doing at that time, you know. It's not really something that you ever end up doing in the future necessarily, as much as it's just reflective of the things that you like then. um and so it's always all of these experiences of the future are actually very present minded, or the past. um and so it is sort of a song about killing the future, killing the past. Like you interpreting it as like killing nostalgia patch, like that's pretty accurate. Um, and I guess it makes sense to talk a little bit about the lyrics too, and the process of making this song. Um, I renamed this project file for the sake of like stream, but it was originally called Day 18 because this was made during my uh 49 days of like making music with a unique sample every day. And the first verse of this song was made like within 2 hours, basically. Um, and I just wrote the guitar part. I wanted something kind of like melancholic and sad. And then I just started singing just lyrics that I felt sounded right. Like I didn't even know what I was saying when I started out singing this. I was just trying to sing something that like sounded kind of sad. Kind of nostalgic. So it's like talking about someone or something, kind of like reminiscing on the past. Graduation dress, maybe it's like high school. Over curly hair and a purple vest. Graduation again. And I feel like a lot of the music that I was writing around this time, like I wrote what was the other one? Looking back where we are now. Where we are. I wrote that song around the same time, and there's like motifs of like make me say it, have you shot down, like head first, t-shirt, head down, looking back where we are now. Just like it was a lot of punched in lyrics about nostalgia, or just like looking back, kind of like motifs of high school. And so this was kind of like a response to the feelings of that song. And I also like there was an unreleased thing that I made that like this song is kind of responding to in some way, but as I was working on the song, and this is usually what happens, right? You just like make some bullshit, and you're like, oh, this sounds really good. I'm gonna continue working on this. You kind of listen to the song back and you like reinterpret what it could be saying as far as like how you feel about it, and that changes how you approach the rest of the song. So like these lyrics now mean something completely different to me, and it influenced how I went about the visualizer and and that sort of thing. Like this is just me singing very impersonally, right? Like I'm just kind of like singing about whatever in the moment. But a lot of these things you're using wording that is subconsciously speaking to you in the moment, that then when you look back, you actually realize you're singing about yourself. Or you realize how the art pertains to yourself, and it inspires you, and it influences the rest of what you're making. So what did this mean to me after I re-listened to it?
graduation dress, sober, curly hair, and a purple vest. Don't be scared, I'm not seeing.
This is me singing about myself, kind of. The way I interpreted it was like, this is my YouTuber persona talking to me. I've kind of left my YouTube channel to rot. Like my main channel, where I did like a lot of speedrunning content, gaming content, before I did music. And so, this is kind of me, and especially within like the themes of like my recent music, it's very reflective on my relationship with like content. Like Puppet is the same way. And how these things interact with like my day-to-day and like interpersonal relationships, how my relationship to like vulnerability and like online content, that I've worked on since I was a kid, is like shaped the way that it shaped other facets of my life, and I see these things as like very connected. And so this is like my YouTuber persona is something distant that I've kind of left to rot and die because I've just been making music this whole time instead of like making videos, talking back to me. And basically it's a hearkening of my relationship with that persona, So it's like lyrics of like, it's like it's still within this sort of impersonal lens, but you can apply it to this idea. Credit card origami fold, won't need $1 while I'll be going. Like I basically sacrificed like making money through content, for the sake of like artistic integrity. So that's kind of where I'm coming from on that. Yeah, I don't want to over-explain all the lyrics because I think it just kind of defeats it, or like defeats the art. But like that is what influenced a lot of the visuals and like kind of the angle I was coming from the song. And so this moment of it building into like this sort of it all comes back to now is kind of me killing that expectation I had around making videos in the name of embracing artistic integrity, killing the persona. It's kind of an ego death. And so that's why I wanted it to like build into like this thing that is just completely different from the thing that came before, Which is where you get what is, in my opinion, like the pivotal point of this song. And really what kind of makes it for me. And to explain how I came upon this part of the song, I also need to talk about a different thing that I made in that 49-day project, which is this little project file. I made it day 28. I used a sample of some dude teaching a Tai Chi class. My friend just sent it to me, and he was like, do this. Do something with this. I was like, okay.
To introduce the basic foundations of our Tai Chi.
So this is like, you already hear it. It's basically the same song, but like just really minimal and like not the same time signature and all that. But a lot of these assets I actually just reused. I think I used like you hear the Tai Chi sample saying like what resembles like, oh, now like let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Is it this one?
No.
Yeah. The Tai Chi instructions being like, now we do this. And I just sample chopped it. And then this one's in 4/4. So I reappropriated it to be in like 3/4 or like 6/8. And this is I basically kind of remade it. So like I resang it, reused some assets, but then basically used all of the assets from before and then just like deconstructed them. Like I didn't really add that much more assets. I just used all of them for this part, you know? And also some additional samples from like some of the other Sony Vegas music that I've been working on. So, to create the kick sound in the original, I literally just like I do this in some of my music. I just like tap my mic or like punch it or something. So that's the sound that you get here, and that's why it's like so fucking booming. We have just a lot of samples going at once. I'm basically adding all of the call samples from before and then layering them as like rhythmic perks, along with like, you know, these samples from like childhood, some of the, you know, like camcorder footage, the reaction, like Call of Duty reaction videos I used to have when I was younger of like, to like different clips that I'd hit. So you like kind of hear them come in.
Happy birthday. Well, I'm more than willing.
And just layering them on at different points. It's kind of hard to like isolate one individual thing for this. There's just so much going on. I guess we'll start with just like the main vocals. Oh, these were. It's pretty basic. I'm just layering like one. I'm just doubling them, like one in each ear, adding some like, yeah, just high-end EQ. That's about it. A lot of glitch sounds going on. I'm trying to look for. Where is it? Yeah, I change a lot of these heart. This is where I begin to get like really melodic with the heart monitor sounds. So I'm just adding like some vibrato to like create this texture. Yeah, just a lot of glitching going on. I'm still keeping the guitar in here. But now the beat of it kind of like changes the like the pacing of like how you or like the phrasing of how you interpret the guitar part. Like the emphasis is a little bit different now. Now it's kind of on the which is like kind of weird. Like it's not really how you feel the phrase before. So it throws it off. There's a bit more of the heart monitor. And then we introduce the DS sounds. If I can find them. I guess in the meantime, you hear these bass sounds. I'm layering a lot of bass together to like make everything sound so full. I'm now using the screaming sounds as like a melodic element. That other bass adds a lot of power. And then just looking for the Deagle sound. Or not the Deagle sound, the DS sound. These are mostly vocal chops from the original demo that I had. Here we go. So this is the Rocket League sound I use in day 1 of the Wart 30-day challenge that I was doing. I originally used it in these 49-day snippets. And I really like the sound of it. It's just a Rocket League boost sound pitched down. And it just adds like a really nice note. And then just layering a bit of like DS sounds, which is like a really big motif in this kind of era of my music. Obviously very nostalgic. Some of these individual layers are a little bit hard to like deep dive on or unpack, but I'll try to like layer some of them together so you can hear what they sound like. I'm basically just like playing different ones at different times to like there's a DSI. Just create like different effects out of it. And I really like this like do it again motif, or like little thing that I have going on. It's kind of cute. I want to play actually one of these like COD reaction clips because they're kind of funny. If I can find it. This one's funny. This is the reaction to me hitting my first 6 on on Black Ops 3. This is when I hit a 6 on with all my friends on call. It's like my favorite reaction ever. I love that clip so much. That was on World War II actually. So technically it wasn't a 6 on, it was like a 5 on times 2 because it was. Why am I geeking out about fucking like Call of Duty right now? Okay, I gotta walk into this fucking stem breakdown. Layering the Tai Chi. The other thing is that the original samples were pitching for what is it? I think the original snippet's in C major, like that demo, whereas this one is in D major. So a lot of this stuff is me like trying to pitch correct the original demo to like match with it. And then obviously like have it match with like the drum loop, you know? It's kind of impossible for me to like go through everything here because the process of making this song was so like it was so fucking blackout and then like I have a song, you know, for like a good portion of it where like I would get into like really zoned in sessions of just like adding layers to shit and then like just being like, oh, this has to go here, this has to go here. To where like to individually break down like these individual stems, like it kind of defeats like how it was kind of making it, because a lot of it was just me like just adding shit, you know, or like reusing layers from before and then just being like, okay, I need it to sound like this in this moment. I just had like the general like melody of like, and little by little you did. And then this part, I was like, okay, I wanted to go like, or like something weird. Like, it's very inspired by like, anthems of a 17-year-old girl by Yule, like that cover that they did. Like a lot of the same. That one's also in D major, you know. So it's got like a lot of the same vibe. But I'm taking this in more of like the evil, distorted direction. A nostalgic direction. And then I was like, okay, how do I change this melody from like the last 6 bars? I go here. Or not 6 bars, like the last 2 or whatever. So I was like, ba ma ma na boo ba. So like you use all the assets that I have to like create that melody basically. That's how I think when I'm like working on it. So I'm like, okay, let's use the vocal layers to do that. So like ba ma na na boo ba. Like that's the melody idea I had. So I was like, how do I get that sound? I add like a sensor here. A little sensor sound. And then I'm just layering all the other sounds to like accompany that basically. And then here I want there to be like some impact. So I use there's a couple sounds to like make this impact. There's also I think like another. Yeah, that's one of my friends hitting her mic as well that I sampled from another segment. The reason why there's so many samples here and why I work with so many and why they go in like all these weird unexpected directions is like you have to understand that like I just have the context of having like 50 plus at this point like 60, well no, way more than that because I've just been like making music in Sony Vegas for a while, but like at least like 70 project files of just like different samples that I had used in like weird ways. So I just have that like built up context for like, oh, this sound would sound good here, or like, oh, I used it in this project in this way, I just like reuse it. This isn't stuff that like you would just know off the bat. I need to sample the DS sound, so it sounds like it's less likely that you're going to think of that as much as you're going to be like, oh, I remember how this thing sounded in this project. Let's throw it in here, and that's where I get, you know, sensor bar sounds like a sine wave kind of thing. Yeah. And because I can't use synth sounds traditionally, like samples are the only way I do it, you know. I need the experience from before to like encourage the way that I make stuff. Oh, I really like these melodies actually. These have like varying amounts of chorus on them, or are more raw to like. I just really like how those sounds. How those sounds? How they sound. What the fuck else is going on? Oh, yeah, I'm using a lot of these clicking sounds. I completely forgot to talk about these samples. These are some firework sounds. They just add some additional texture. I use these a lot on Mother Nature as well. And then here I introduced the repo synth. I use this on Come On. I learned actually from working on Come On to use the sounds from repo as like a synth. Or no, it was from a different project file before, but like Come On was the first time I used it as like a really melodic harmonic synth that was like that actually sounded good. So like using it to like layer them together to create like EDM style. And when I talk about repo, I'm talking about like the game Repo. When you just type letters in, like hold on, I'll remove all the pitch shifting and everything, but like keep the distortion. When you just type in a vowel, so this is like if you type like with a bunch of H's into the repo chat, the little dude makes like a little vowel sound. And then here, like ooh, but if you distort it, it becomes like a EDM synth, and then you can repitch it. And then, you know, add EQ to mix it properly, but... And then there's a bit of vibrato on this too. But yeah, like... A bit of the glitchy sounds. And then the big impact. The way I added impact sounds was like mainly by using these fireworks. And using like a little click sound. From like me playing, yeah, like a toy piano at a park when I was like really young. Yeah, Vocaloid, that's what I was trying to go for the repo. Yeah. But then just like blaring out the Vocaloid so that it like turns into just literally a EDM synth. The main elements that make this melody are like the ba ba da na ba da da ba ba da na are the Rocket League sounds and then the vocal chops with the DSI sounds adding like a bit of ambiance. So I'll just isolate what those sound like. Oh, and then like the sensor beep. I don't know if I... And then everything is just building around those. And the snare sound I remember being really interesting here. Oh, these drums are so crazy, dude. Okay, these are crazy. I forgot about this. Okay, this part of the song, I was just having fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like this part I stumbled on, I was like, holy fuck. I'm using... What even is this? I can't even fucking remember. Hold on. Just give me a sec. What is this? Fuck, what was I using again? Okay, give me a sec. I'm just gonna look through my... Oh my god, that's what it was! The same sample of my friend hitting her mic. She also flicked a glass on her table. Oh, we might have just crashed it again. Oh, no, we're good. So this is a sound of like her hitting her glass. And then I rendered it out, added distortion, and then pitch shifted it up. So it becomes a hi-hat. That's that same sample, but like I pitched it down so you hear the harmonic elements of hitting the glass. So it becomes like a little string pluck sound. And then this snare is the Smash Bros. Ultimate KO. Or no, it's the new challenger approach, the new foe sound. And then that's also a synth here. And then I mean, you hear this in it, but like, that's the smash sound. There's a bit of vinyl crackle too, just like leading into the build-up. Oh! And this song is cool, actually. I'll pull up one other thing. Just give me a sec. Because a lot of this, the reason why this song I think is so important to me, or just like part of the impact for me is it uses a lot of assets from the first ever song I produced, which was also done in Vegas. But I used to make, or not used to, like I still do this, but like my approach to it is just different. I haven't worked on video projects since, so it's like hard for me to say that I still do it. But either way, like something that I have done is like make little songs for videos that become like little segments. And so I was going to talk about Silent Hill in one of my videos, and I made this song called Silent Hill, and it was the first ever produced song that I made. I'll play a little bit of it, but you'll hear that like some of these samples are like some of the sounds. And you can see by all the automation clips that like this was really early into me using Vegas, so I didn't really know how to like get shit to sound the way I wanted. So I had to like automate a fuck ton. I shouldn't say this is my first ever produced song. Like, this is the first one I did where I was like, I'm going all out for this one, you know? And like making like a fully sung and produced song. I made like a lo-fi beat in FL Studio one time, but I don't count that. But like that vinyl crackle sound where it like leads into the drop. Like there's so many elements from this that like I used, or like that sonically they just sound really similar to credit rolls, or like credit roll sounds very similar to this, you know? I'm gonna probably drop this song on Patreon separately because I do think it's kind of fun, but it just doesn't really fit my current shit very much. And to answer your question, like, have I had much prior music experience? I sang in choir, and then I took piano lessons for like a number of years. But I only got into music production like relatively recently. But I think my like past 3 years. But I think the reason I've gotten very good at music production quickly, or at least to my standard, is that I had so much experience making videos, and I just like the last video project I made, I spent fucking 2.5 years on. And when you work that hard making something, like making a song feels like a cakewalk in comparison, you know? Like that video fucking oh my god. But yeah. That's just a cool little like thing as to like why this song I feel like it feels like so much of an homage to that song. And it does come full circle in a lot of ways. That video is the Dying Art of Call of Duty montages. It's on my main channel. I'm trying to think of like other things within this segment to like point out. But all the layers, like, they're just, you just hear the way that they're stacked mainly. And it's like very... You know, I'm just kind of adding shit. Good. Maybe. And then we get into like the moment of the song, I feel like. This is where we start using literally every layer at once. And you can see that the stems, they start to get fucked. For a lot of reasons. So, I don't really know how I'm gonna break this part down. I'm gonna be honest. This part of the song, I guess I'll talk about like my inspiration going into it. So like, this part of the song is like, it's very much a build, and then like, things just break, you know? Like it's just like, what just happened, you know? Like, I feel like I'm in a tsunami, and just shit's going on, you know? And then it keeps going, and it just gets bigger and bigger. That kind of like break, or like switch up, it was heavily inspired by this song from one of my friends. His name is Bridge of Sand. While working on this song, I was like listening to a bit of his music. And there's this song that he made called Part 2. Bro, what are we doing? Sorry. Oh, okay, I think it's playing. But it has like this very... He makes like a lot of experimental hip-hop, experimental pop music. But you kind of have like this consistent beat. And then here, it's like, it kind of breaks, you know? And it does kind of a similar thing. That was like a big inspiration for this, this part, so shout out to Bridge of Sand. But I'm basically just taking all of the sample elements, and I was just like, how can I make something that just sounds so fucking crazy? This is the guy I was gonna give Puppet to. Yeah, I wanted to get his rapping on the last verse of Puppet. Exactly. Cause that beat was like very Bridge of Sand. So I was just like, I'm just gonna spam all the samples until it sounds like something. So I just did that. And then I was like, okay, let me just repeat the bar. There's no time signature. I'm just like, what? Literally pause, do it again. So a lot of this is even like copy and pasted a bit. But I'm just like adding a little bit every time. Oh, and then I added the Wii shit. I forgot about this. But you can't really hear it. And this part is different because I added all these piano layers too. These are like tons of layers of like the DS acting as like this. And there's like a bit of vibrato on some of them. So they like move up and down. They sound like birds chirping a little bit. And I think I had some other layers too. I'm trying to remember. I think maybe I deleted them from the project actually. But I remember the base of this was originally some like piano layers that I never ended up using after. Oh! Oh, they are here! Yeah. This is just me like improvising on piano. And these are all just like, you know, voice note recordings on my phone. But I'm layering that with the DS shit going on, and it just like sounds like you're levitating. And then along with some vocal chops from that same recording. And a lot of what is making this like really cut or like just really just fucking blare out is like there's like so many glitch effects stacked onto each other, and then the bass here is crazy. This is like where are we? Oh. And I throughout all of this, I've also reintroduced the Killer 7 sample as like a synth. I'm looking for more of where the bass is. Because there's a couple layers that I use throughout here. Yeah. So I'm like using 2 layers as I was before. But now like before I was kind of tapering off the bass a little bit. Here I'm just like letting it ride out. It's also a bit more distorted than it was before, I believe. Yeah, there's some distortion added to it. So it just sounds like really evil. And then I'm also adding like an additional kick by using this like short hit kind of 808. And then these are like little punches. And then it just gets fucked up because here there's like a fat ass fucking pitch down 808 that just like you're just getting punched. I don't even think this is in the same key. I think I just put it in a random key, so just like bleh, it's just fucking it shouldn't be there, you know? You're just being attacked. This part of the song was just genuinely like a fuck you to the limiter. Oh, and this sample is also really cool. Okay. So another part of this that like makes it sound so crazy is I did this for Puppet as well, but I went through earlier part, like this part of the song where it's like crazy. And then I just like scrubbed through it. Like that. and I recorded it, and then... Or no! I literally forget what this was. I've always wanted to do this on the song. There are points where you work on a project file in Vegas, or like you do something, and something just starts sounding weird, or like fucked up, and it's like not supposed to sound like that. I'll see if I can recreate it here. So if I do... This usually happens when you add volume to something. But it can also happen when you add pitch shift or bit crushing. It can happen with a couple effects, but they begin to stack on each other. So okay, it's not happening right now, but there are times where if you replay a clip over and over again in Vegas and it has a bunch of effects on it, it starts to go so like it starts to distort like crazy. And I did that, and like I think I also might have like chopped up recording, like did something like this where I like just chopped up the recording a lot, or like I might have done like some weird shit like this, or like did it like really short or something, maybe like that. I can't remember, but I remember like a distinct part of this was the fact that like the song glitched out while I was making it, and I recorded that. And then I just sped it up like a fuck ton. Or like I did some weird shit to it. I can't remember. But the whole thing is that this song contains itself. Cause it's just like the song truncated into this like fucked up like amalgamation. And that is contained within the song itself, you know? And it just makes it feel like it's like a fractal. It's like literally like it's just you're just experiencing the whole fucking universe at once. There's more of like those sounds. And then I finally turn it into a melody here. And that's mainly through the vocal chops again. That's what it was! The synth is the song! The synth that you hear at the high end, that is literally the whole song. That sounds like Arceus, like fucking attacking the universe. It's this thing. Like, it literally sounds so intense because it's literally just the whole song. Like, me speeding through it. It's the whole song sped up, and then distorted so that it just becomes the synth of the song. And then here we break everything. I think the way I got the like rising feeling, like a lot of this is just spamming the sounds like that, but I also did something here. That was like particularly unique. It has something to do with the kicks, maybe. Or the bass. But I started to like sweep it somewhere. Here we go. This is these like spam kicks. And then I add a pitch shift on them and a vibrato to pitch it up a bit, and it becomes like the THX intro before it breaks off. And then I'm using the flat line from earlier, and I'm like finally letting it play out in full. So it's like, you know, we're fucking dying. Where's the flat line? Here we go. Yeah. That's basically most of credit rolls. The rest is I could break it down if people want, but it's not as like I feel like it's not like the, you know, it's not as crazy on the production end. But speed run. Fine. I could do it. Okay, give me a sec. I'll pull up the file for it. I gotta look it up. Flatline outro. The part before this is just a couple voice recordings that I like put into the master file. I didn't put them on the like mixed layers. But these are pretty basic. This is just recordings of a horse running, which I used in like another sample that I did, and it was like very nice ambience. And I think it's also like cricket nighttime sounds. This is some classical guitar playing the same riff. This is me doing ASMR into the mic. Oh, up there. Is it here? Low-key, this whole layer is actually a mistake. But you can't hear it, so. And then some of these added layers are in the original. And then some of them are just me, like, kind of riffing to something that sounds more nice on the classical. There's some more of these camcorder recordings from like Puppet and earlier in the song. Where's the ASMR? Oh, here it is. I'm doing some like GB ASMR. I did that one time for another like snippet, so I was like, this would sound really nice here. And this is just me whistling the main riff. Oh, up there. Where is it? I forget where the harmonic layer is. Somewhere here. It's very quiet, but And the rest of this is pretty straightforward. I add a little bit of radio EQ to the vocals.
Alone, I feel you still. Sunburst with me until
That's the original take.
I let it burn my tickets on. You fought apart,
I reuse some sounds from other projects that I was using here. So I think these like little winding sounds, they're from either Dog Water or Mother. Yeah. And then this is a sound from Deadlock. But I used it in another one of my snippets and it sounded cool. I don't play Deadlock, but my friends do. Yeah, it's this thing. But pitch down, it just adds like a little texture when you add vibrato to it. And I did that for some other sampled snippet. So I was like, I'm gonna use it here. And then the ending of the song is just some raw vocals. Because I thought that would just be the most, like, for the ending lyrics of just, like, what feels like death. Just having it be so, like, it kind of pitters out. Like, it's very similar to, Good Luck Final Girl, I think is the name of it, from, Underscore's album. Like, the way that album ends, I was like, this feels very, like, it feels very appropriate for this. Did I call her underscored? Underscores. But yeah, and then it's just like little background noise of me clicking as if to say like I feel like I'm trying to lay into the idea of like this is the now, you know? Like this is literally the now. The me of like editing or like working on this song. This like I'm trying to bring it to this moment, you know? Where it's like fully on, you know, killing that ego. Yeah. Last credit rolls, we did it.